Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Nobile Mabasu. If you're new here, please make sure that you subscribe, like and comment. So what you're about to see now is basically just a part 2 or continuation of my previous video about depression. So this is basically just a short question and answer series, mostly directed towards millennials and depression. So I really hope that you guys will benefit from it. Please comment, share your thoughts, let me know what you guys think about it, and yeah, like, subscribe, comment and do the most. Thank you. I'm just trying to go back and track where I was because I can only speak for myself, and I think for me the hardest thing, you see, this is the thing with depression, eh? Or this is how I experienced my depression. I ended up I'm not gonna say liking, but for me it was easier to stay in the toxic place than to think of the possibility of drawing myself out. So I ended up being so familiar with the darkness and with the shame and with, you know, I ended up making that toxic space such a familiar environment for me that the thought of getting help, the thought of thinking of, okay, you know what, you can't stay like this every day and you can't like die like this, and you actually have to get out there and like do something. That for me, that was the hardest thing for me to ever think of. So it's the realizing that you need to overcome this that was hard. That was the hardest thing for me. It's the realizing that you have to draw yourself out, that life has to carry on, the show must go on, the degree must be finished, the job has to be done. For me, that was just the hardest thing for me to honestly come to terms with, because yeah, like I said, I allowed myself to become too familiar with the toxic place, and it was not a nice feeling. So what pushed me out of it more than anything was getting knowledge and knowing that I don't want this to be my life. So it was getting knowledge. Yeah, it was getting educated about it and knowing that there is the other side of the tunnel, and that eventually I have to get to the other side of the tunnel, because yeah. I think the problem with this generation is that, I'm not going to say, the problem with millennials is that they feel like they know everything and they feel like they're entitled to everything. So, and also because information is so easily accessible to millennials now, like a lot of people know how to just jump onto the internet and to go to Dr. Google or psychologist Google, and they'll tell them everything that's happening to you. So when a millennial comes to you for a session, they come to you and they say, hi, my name is Mang Mang and I'm depressed and I need you to help me. And you're like, oh, okay, so you're depressed. Okay, so what is it that you're going through that is an indicative of you being depressed? And they will tell you what Dr. Google told them to tell you, which won't necessarily always be a reflection of what is it that they're genuinely going through. So I think the problem with millennials is that honestly we feel like we know it all, and we feel like we're entitled to everything. So I feel like I'm entitled to demanding you to help me because I'm telling you that this is what I'm going through, and I'm not allowing you to use your professional abilities to actually do a full assessment on me and tell me, okay, this is actually what's happening, this is actually where it comes from, and stuff like that. So yeah, I think it's we just need to tone it down a bit, you know. I mean, our parents got to where they were in life because they had to acknowledge the fact that there's so much that they didn't know, and they were more open to learning and to finding out about stuff. I mean, my gran just joined WhatsApp, we were just talking about it with my siblings the other day, that it's so refreshing how serious she is about the whole thing. Like, she's making sure that she's not making any mistakes. If she's not understanding something, she asks. She'll let you guys know that, okay, like, I'm new at this, I'm trying to learn the ropes, and because she's approaching it in that manner, it's easier for us, who might know more about WhatsApp than she does, to actually like give her correct information and stuff like that. But they don't have the arrogance that we have. So it's harder for us to reach out, and ask for help, and it's harder for the people who can help us to actually provide us with the help, because we approach it already knowing everything and already being entitled to, okay, this is what you have to do for me, because it's a hard question, and I don't think I have an answer for that, because I'm also just mindful of the fact that it's gonna be hard. It's hard for millennials to declutter, because there is quite a lot going on for them, Shem. Like, I look at my younger siblings and like my teenage siblings, and they're going through a lot more. So it's almost like it's harder for them to declutter, because they genuinely don't have a space or an environment that allows them to do that. So you really have to be at a point where you're so self-aware, where you're so conscious of yourself, where you're so self-empowered, for you to actually be able to get to a place where you filter the clutter, because they're exposed to way more. I mean, I know that my partner and I were having a conversation of how old are we going to, at what age are we going to allow our children to have phones, and at what level of influence are we going to allow those phones to have in our lives, because we're mindful of the fact that they are cluttered, because there's just so much that they're dealing with. There's so many things going on for them. All of this information that they're exposed to can be a pro and a con. Like, it can be good and it can be bad for them. So I think for me, just answering from a personal space and from a big sister space, it is so important that we teach our millennials more than anything right now to be aware of who them, to first be able to find out who they are. So find out, like, do research with your family, like, find out who your parents are, what are their views of you, what are their goals, what are their expectations from you. Find out who you are, go back and look at the things that you've gone through in life and how those things have shaped who you are and have shaped how you view things or how you view certain people in life, and focus more on just empowering people from a self place. Like, self-empowerment for me, I feel, is the key to sort of sustain the next generation to come, because they are exposed to a lot more than we were, just like how we felt like we were exposed to a lot more than what our parents were. So you need something to ground you, you need something to keep you rooted, and I don't think there's anything better to do that for you than yourself and your sense of self, and you being proud of who you are, what you've been through, where you're going. And yeah, again, I'm gonna go back to where I was when I was going through the most. And firstly, there is the other side of the tunnel. So you are able to make it out of the depression. You are able to make it out of the depressed state. There is a possibility. You can come out of it. Get help. That's basically it. You can come out of it. So get the necessary help. Where do you get help? I'll try and put up numbers of places that people can go to. So there's things like Lifeline, there's things like SADC. I know that there's a depression helpline as well. And I'm just gonna do a bit of research on like other facilities that are available for people, because we are an online generation and it is corona. So like I'm just gonna try and see if I can find more places, online places that you guys can go through. Also just go to your local clinic as well. I know that some areas actually do have psychologists who come in on certain days at their local clinics. And so yeah, so ask around for help, and there definitely is somebody out there who will be willing to help you or point you to the right direction.